Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Good morning, Marisa. I believe Marisa is already connected. There you are. How are you, Marisa?
I'm pretty good, very excited.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here today. And thank you,
You hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you well. And thank you everyone for joining us today or for watching this content. If you're watching this on demand, we are here today for a very special webinar on finance module tips and tricks. Marisa here with me today, I think she basically needs no introduction with this audience. I'm sure that most of you have worked directly with her. If you haven't, be sure that internally the consultant that you're working with has consulted with Marisa for some of your processes. She's our all-knowing superhero consulting director, and it's always fantastic to have her share some of her time with us here in the webinar series. So thank you, Marisa, very much for being with us. We're going to get straight to the content because it's going to be a very full of content webinar. We estimate that we might take from 45 to 1 hour of time. Let me quickly go through some reminders. The webinar is being recorded. It will be made available for you to consume on demand afterwards. All participants are muted by default, but you can ask any questions you'd like at any point during the webinar using the Q&A function on Zoom. And we will get to the questions at the end of the webinar, okay? And we will answer all that we have time for. Marisa and myself are going to turn our cameras off right now to be wise with the bandwidth. And Sebastian is going to share some links with all attendees. If you have not subscribed to our newsletter yet, please do so. There's also a link to a survey where you can suggest new content for this webinar series, and a link to our YouTube channel that we hope you find useful. Finally, who is this webinar for? This is an important one, especially in this webinar. This webinar is going to be useful for finance module users. So if you interact with a finance module in SAP Business One, if that is your work, if that is what you do in SAP Business One, or you would like to understand this module, this is for you. But if you work on other modules of SAP Business One, this webinar might not be the right for you. Also, this webinar is designed for advanced users. What we mean by advanced users is you have already received your training by your consultant while you were implementing the system, and you already know your processes that you need to do, your day-to-day tasks in SAP Business One. If you're still going through the process of implementing, if you're still going through your training, through your formal training with your consultant because you're implementing the software right now at your company, we suggest that you maybe consume this webinar at a later time on demand. Right now, if you attend this webinar but you are still not fully trained, this webinar might leave you with more questions than answers. These tips and tricks that Marisa is going to share are things that we are not able to include in the formal training initially, because we don't include them for a reason, and that is because you need to be focusing on your tasks at hand at the beginning until you feel very comfortable with them, and then these tips come in really handy, are wonderful for you. So with that, Marisa, again, thank you, and I give the floor to you.
Okay, thank you, Clarita. So allow me just then to share my screen. So basically, let's start with what we will be covering in this webinar. How to look at more detail when you are doing transactions. So I will show you this option to split journal entries. We will go through the journal vouchers that I guess most of you are not using it. We will go through some reports, the document journal, the journal ledger, but memorized report, and finally the financial report template. I have a few additionals. If we have the time, we will go through those. But if not, this will be like the main thing, okay? So then I will start just sharing my screen. I'm going to a demo company. And Clarita, will you please confirm that you're seeing my screen?
Yes, we are seeing your screen, Marisa.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to our screen and allow me just to increase the resolution. Okay, perfect. So let's start with the split the journal entry. It's very common that maybe when you are doing some transactions, you keep track, you don't see the real impact when you are, let's say, shipping a product to a customer. And if those products, if your GL account determination, let's say, is by item group, right? And both the products that you are shipping, all of them are part of the same item group. So you actually, in the journal entry, you just see one line for the cost of goods sold, one line for the revenue. So you really don't see what is the real impact of each of those products. This option can give you that. And this is an option that you can use anytime, and you can inactivate that option at any time as well. And you find it under the system initialization. Okay, so you can go to the document settings. And here you have this, like in the middle of the screen, split journal entry posting by document line. So by default, it is no split. In here, we have two options: a split only in the preview, or split it just plainly, okay? So I won't show you the no split. That is the standard. Most of you already have it like this. So let's go with the split. You can test it, and this you can reverse, okay? This is not a definite thing that once you put it to split, and then you won't be able to reverse. No, this is a setting. This is a setting that you can reverse anytime. So I will have this only minimize. And let's go to a sales transaction. I will go directly to an invoice, okay? Because in here, I guess that we can just check with one in one single document. I mean, we can just check what is the cost of sales and the inventory and revenue if you have sales taxes as well. So let's go for a customer. Let me just go to, yes, this one. Any customer would do it. So for the items, this is the demo company, the OEC computers. All of you should have access to one of these OEC computers, right? So you can just test it in there before going, or you can test it in your own test companies. So these two, do you see the item description? The first two, those are printers. So they should be part of the same item group. So I'm selecting both of them, right? So basically I have 5 quantity and 1, 600 the sales price, 300 the cost. You know what, allow me just to change the tax code so we can have less lines, because with the sales taxes, if I am adding the sales taxes, we will have a huge journal entry with a lot of sales taxes line by the jurisdiction. I guess that this item is has some type of unit measure code. So let's go and check before that. Let me check what is the item group, JB printers, and the inventory. Oh, it is by warehouse. So it should be done by the warehouse. I'm using warehouse 1 for both. And in this case, the item cost, 300 plus. Okay, and let's go to the other item, also by warehouse, and the cost 151. Perfect. So you have this option, of course, that let me just to remove the controls of the meeting. Okay, so basically you can go to the journal entry preview, right? So if I go right there, that would be my journal entry. This is in the preview mode, but actually this is what actually happened when I add this invoice. So in the first line, of course, account receivables, right? There will have a couple of lines for the sales taxes. that I define as exempt. But then you will have both lines 4 and 5 for the revenue, instead of having one single line with the 3,300, right? And then I will have one line for the inventory, cost of sales, again, inventory and cost of sales. So this option give you that visibility about what is the real impact of each of those items in your actual journal entry. My suggestion is to use this whenever you create new item groups, or if you are going for, let's say, production orders, and you're not quite sure how those working processes accounts are working, how are those actually splitting. You have, of course, a lot of components in a bill of material. So this way you can just track it. And of course, when you go with the split, your database, of course, will increase the size because of the numeral lines and the additional lines in your journal entries. But I guess that it is a good option for you just to check it. I'm just adding and view this journal, this invoice. And let's just go to, you can just go to the accounting, right? And open the journal remarks, or go to the icon anyway. So basically this is how this was posted, okay? So I can go back to my document settings and then say, I don't want to split it, and go back to the original thing. So you could do it anytime. You can just active or inactive this option. And as I'm saying, just it is very useful whenever you are changing some item groups, or the way that you are defining your GL account determination. If you have new warehouses and it is by warehouse, it would be useful. But my main purpose sometimes is when I'm working with production orders, because it gives me, of course, more visibility. Okay, so this is the first one, and I hope it is useful for some of you. The second one that I want to share with you, those are journal vouchers. Okay, so what is the issue with? Let me just. I have the dashboard, the test for the workbench for the financial process. So journal vouchers. What is a journal voucher? Basically, it is a journal entry, but in draft. Right? So right now, I have in here one journal voucher. This journal voucher, if I select it, I could just look at it. I have like 100, 200, right? $230, right? It is that I have it in the upper table, $230, and then in the bottom, it is like 3 different components. But it was because I was adding more lines to one single journal voucher. But I have this journal voucher. I will show you how to create a new one. It's pretty simple, but anyway, let's go and show you the functionality. So if I go to my financial reports, I go to my balance, let's say, because these are actually, if it is from bank, that is a balance, right? So if I'm going here and I say, okay, show me basically my report as of today, and then enter. So this is level 1. Let's go to the level 4. And for my bank accounts, I guess that let me just increase my size of the column. So basically I have, it is the second line, right? The 1120, 5,000 plus dollars. But now I want to use this journal voucher. So I can add the journal vouchers, run my financials, and analyze the data before actually posting that transaction. So now I have, do you see that I have now the 5,255. So this would be my final result if I post this journal voucher. So let me just go, and then I say, okay, this is fine. Or maybe I just want to make an adjustment. I can add an entry to this existing voucher. I could just add entry to existing voucher. It is still open. Do you see I have the date? I have everything here. I could use a template that I guess that some of you could be using. Let's say one for percentage, and it could be for, if it is for banks, I have one for banks. So if I use this template and it is for bank charges, and this is based on the percentage. So I say, you know what, in this case, I have a fee for, I don't know, $70. Oops. I have my, okay. I have here my $70. Allow me that I have my number lock, okay? Add to voucher, I close it and I update, right? So same thing, I haven't posted this one. But again, I can just run it. And now I have a great amount. Okay, so if I'm quite sure this is what I want, I can just come here and post the voucher. Okay, say journal voucher to permanent file and yes. In this case, if I can take a look at all of my journal vouchers if I unselect the open only. So this is actually the one that I have, who created, what is the date, if it is already closed, and then I can select only open only. So very simple, you just need to go and add a journal voucher. It looks exactly as a journal entry. You can add your accounts in there. When it is this journal voucher is very useful. Of course, when we are going live, we can use these journal vouchers when we are doing opening balances, right? For the GL accounts, I'm not talking about opening balances for accounts payable, receivables, inventory. No, but for the other GL accounts, we can use, and we use the journal vouchers. So you can run your financials with the journal vouchers and make sure that everything matches with the new company that you just created, the new database, and at that time, then post after all of the adjustments. Sometimes you have auditors, right? And after you close the year or you close the month, they suggest to have some adjustments, and those suggestions by auditors are more than suggestions, right? So you can start working with those journal vouchers, run your reports, get validated those reports by them, and once everything matches everything, everyone agrees with the result, then you can post those journal vouchers, okay? So I guess that is another tool that you can use anytime. And as like I mentioned, at the end, we could you have the time, there will be some, you have the time to make some questions, and hopefully I will have some answers, but if not, I promise you, I will get back to you with the answers, okay? Now, let's go now with the transaction journal that we have. Here under the financial module, I know we have a lot of options in here, but let's go to our financial reports, right? So we have in the accounting a few reports that I don't know if you have had the time to go there, but one of them is the transaction journal report. The transaction journal report is very useful whenever you want to check. Let's say that you would like to check the journal entries for a specific type of transactions. And it could be for inventory posting. It could be for actually AP invoices. It could be for any type of transaction that you have in here. Let's say that I would like to go to inventory posting. Let's go to AP invoices. You know what, let me just close my Outlook. Okay, so I could go to AP invoices. You can select actually the dates for those. Let's say that, let me go to last year, right? And then I can just run my report. So here is only for AP invoices. So there you will have actually the day, what is the serials, the number, the type PU, actually that is the type of the ID for the type of document, in this case, AP invoices. What is the transaction number, right? In this case, if I open this one, basically, that is the transaction number that you have just below the transaction, the journal entry number. And there you have the origin. It is the PU, actually. That is the accounts payable invoice. But in the date, you can actually open the document. Okay, so you can have all of the postings, the details of every single transaction that you have. In these reports, you have a lot of fields. You can add some fields for visibility, but keep in mind, this is header fields. It is not like you will have some lines. If in this case, if I have my journal entries split as the first option that I showed to you, you could have some references in here. But if they are not, of course, let's say in this, let me just check. The second transaction, the goods receipt, not invoice, it could be for more than one item. So you will have only one line, and that is the reason that we cannot have those details at low level in this type of reports. You can get it if you have the split, because in that case, in here, you will have all of those lines from your journal entries. So in that case, you could have additional information, okay, in these reports. But if you don't have the split, then it will be consolidated by GL account. Okay, there are some options with this journal report, but I will go through those in a while. Okay, so that is the transaction journal report. There are some others that those are very useful, like the document journal, and it looks quite similar to the journal ledger. Okay, so let's go and open both. Let me just check. No, let's go for this one first. And the thing is that sometimes you can get confused because those two looks quite similar. The options that you have in the bottom are different because for the journal ledger you have more options. So let's go first for the document journal. So in this one, this document journal, you could select a specific business partner. You could do the document journal. You could have it for a specific customer, for a specific vendor, a specific accounts. So let's go and check it. Let's say I want to for everything, but for a specific account. So maybe just for revenue, let's say. So I could come in here, revenue, and in the expanded, actually, you could select what are the transactions that you would like to have. So let's say that you would like to check, of course, if it is revenue, AR invoices, but maybe credit memos as well, right? So you could just update this one and you can just run it. Let me just go to a previous date, I don't know, 16. And let's go and run the report. So whenever you have in here, do you see now, it is quite similar to the one, the transaction report, the journal report, but in this case, it's for a specific customer or vendor, okay? You could use a specific customer or vendor or none. If you look at the actual selection criteria, I could just, let me just go back to my selection criteria. I could unselect this one and just show me whatever you have in the revenues. You can define what is the posting period, right? You can define what are the transactions that you would like to have. And in this case, the expanded option that you have in, I guess that every single financial report, you have this expanded option and we never use it. And in this one, as you can see, you can not only select the type of transaction, you could select user-defined fields if you have to, right? If you have some user-defined fields, you could select those. You could select projects. You could select transaction codes if you have those transaction codes. Those, we use it mainly for journal entries. But for blanket agreements, or if the detail contains any type of description, so it is a very powerful tool when you have this option to run financial reports for specific transactions and for a specific, I don't know, let's say that when you have EDI projects, when you have EDI integration, right? In the header of the documents, you have that definition if this document it is an EDI or not. So you could run just those reports and use the EDI field just to filter those transactions by EDI trading partners. Okay, so this is a very powerful option that you have with the document journal selection. As I'm saying, you could use customers or not. You could say, non-vendors, let's say, and it makes sense if I'm selecting revenues, right? So this is another option that you have. Right now I have no total, but you could have the total by month, okay? So this is another option that you have. So let me just go. So every time that you will have a change of the transaction, do you see that it changes the color? So it is easier just to read, okay? So you will have those posting by month, let's say, also, if I say month posted, okay? If not, I could say no total. And in here, you could say display every single transactions, or ignore the one that with zero posting. You could have some, what if you go for invoices and some of them you don't see those invoices in the report, and maybe those were samples, so you didn't charge your customer, so maybe the actual revenue was zero, right? Even if the cost of sales still would be value, you still will have a value, the revenue account will be zero. So these options you have as well, okay? And ignore transactions with no value and hide zero value lines. So you have all of these options. So my suggestion is to play a little bit with those, with the different options that you have in here, okay? So this is for the document journal selection criteria. So you have the same thing when you go to the actual general ledger, the expanded option. So let's go here to our general ledger. So in the general ledger, you have additional options just below the dates, the selection criteria for the dates. You have print each account on separate page, print directly to printer, order account by chart of accounts, and so on. You can summarize by control accounts, summarize the control accounts. Let's say that you have multiple accounts receivables and accounts payables. Maybe it could be for intercompany transactions. So you could summarize control accounts. I won't go through the things that I already shared with you with the document journal, but I want to show you how to memorize a report in here. When you open the general ledger, you have this button that says save, right? So that is what we would like to have, to have this report that I'm pulling this report all the time. So I'm pulling this report all the time. So what can I do? So let's say that I want to bring, to put a report for my bank accounts, right? So in that case, maybe I don't need my business partners, or I could, but maybe I don't. But I could go to the bank account. So let's go and save this report. So before selecting anything, you can go to the add icon, right? Or Control A, same thing. And now, do you see that the save button now has the yellow line in the left? It means that now that button is active, okay? So now it is in save mode. So now you could just come here and define what is the report that you would like to have, like those accounts. So let's say that I would like to do it for some assets, bank accounts. So I can go, instead of doing, right now I see level 1, right? So I could go and select level 4. But this screen is not that user-friendly. Now we have it. It is a little more. Let me check if I can just do the fit column. So now I can just come here and select the accounts. But let me just share with you another option. So to select the accounts, you can use the find, even if you are in level 1, right? You can go to find and use the by segmentation if you want to, or use by GL account. So in the GL account, I want to select specific accounts. So I could go for the account code in range, and I would say, okay, you know what, let me just go to the bank account. So I could say, okay, I want to report, I want to memorize this report, maybe for inventory, right? I want to do it just for inventory. So let me just go to this 131, and let's go to the another 1, 3, and that would be for inventory returns. And okay, so basically let me just change the date because I know that this year we don't have that many transactions. So now I selected only the inventory accounts. So if I go here and report for those inventory accounts, I will have my report, right? Customer, whatever I selected the customers and vendors. Let me just go back. So basically I will have my inventory report, right? Every single transaction that I have for those accounts. Now I would like just to save this one, and I will come in here in the selection criteria name, and I will assign a name, inventory, and then save. So the next time that I open my general ledger, I can just come in here and select my inventory. So my selection criteria is already there. So I can now just go and run my report. Okay, so this is a powerful way for you to memorize those reports. And instead of exporting your reports all the time to Excel and start deleting lines and so on. So this is a powerful way just to do it. Okay. You have a lot of options in here. You can sort and summarize, posting totals. So my suggestion again is to play a little bit with the options that you have in here. You could use this, look, the opening balances from start of the company or from start of the fiscal year. This is a very good option, the start of the fiscal year. You could display all of the posting, or you could look for those. Let's say that you are at the end of the year and you would like to run a report for all of those open payments, right? Those payments is still pending to be applied, or with a balance still pending to be applied, or those credit memos also that you haven't applied. So you could just select not fully reconciled. Or this way, you could just have all of those and start applying credit memos, apply those payments, if that is actually what you need to do, and getting this report would give you like the peace of mind that everything has been fully reconciled, and then you can close your year. Okay, so you have that option. This and reconcile externally. This refers to basically bank statements. Okay, so it is only for those bank accounts where you have your external bank statement reconciliation. Okay, but this not fully reconciled. It refers to invoices, credit memos, payments, all of those. Okay. So that is a powerful option as well. You could hide a zero balance account here if you don't, of course, if you could, maybe you don't want to have in a huge report a lot of lines with the actual amount zero. So you can just do this. This option that is consider reconciliation date, that is critical, the reconciliation date. Keep in mind that you could have by the end, let's say that we're almost at the end of May, but let's say that you could have in April, by April the 30th, an invoice that was reconciled in the first week of May because there was a credit memo, or because hopefully not a credit, but a payment from a customer, right? So you need to take into consideration what is the reconciliation, consider the reconciliation date, because in that case, the reconciliation date would be in May instead of April. Right? And in that case, it's hide the zero balance too, right? So that is one of the things that you can use as well. You could do the display the posting summaries as well. And as I already showed you, you can use the expanded. Regarding the selection for the dates, our suggestion is always to use one, the posting date, instead of everything. But of course, you could go and add also the due date, because maybe you could just run your report as of today, saying, okay, show me whatever we have up until the end of this year, but with due date May 31st. So in that case, the report will use that criteria, and it will filter only those transactions that are due by the end of this month. right? The following Monday. So of course the report will be quite different, okay? So from this general ledger, what I want just to summarize is that you can save the report so you can use it later on, so you don't need to go back again to all of the selection criteria. And also you can go and find the accounts in an easiest way that going through actually increase the grid or select those accounts. But you can do it this way as well, okay? Just remember, if you go by GL account, select whatever it is, but by default, when you open it, if you the last time that you use it, you have the segmentation, you can just still come here, select the range of accounts, and then you get a different result. And the reason is that in here you have by segmentation, but actually you are selecting the accounts in the bottom. So don't forget just to do this by GL account, if that is the case, okay? Okay, let's go. Let's go to, do you want to have them? I'm saying no, that's fine. Let's go to, there's another option that you have in here, and I guess that some of you haven't noticed, and that is the customer open document list. So this is a report, as the report says, is only for customers, right? So you can select in here the open items by posting date. That should be the standard thing. Day two, I could say, okay, whatever it is, maybe as of today. So I click the T for today. The reconciliation date, I will say the same thing, T for today. And now I can select my customer, okay? So you can select a group of customers. You could select every single customer that you have, or you could select just a specific customer. Okay, so in here, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it for every single customer. I will do it just for one customer. So I can give you an idea, because if I do it for all of the customers, the report will be huge. But let me just go to and the balance is not that huge. So let me just go for this one and click OK, and then open it. This is a crystal report. Okay, so let me just increase a little bit so you will see it. This is a standard report from SAP. So that is the reason that you see some columns that are, let's say, in the overdue in days. The first line, you see 3,178, and it is split into lines. We could just adjust it if you want to, but basically here, what you will have is every single open transaction that you have for your customer. I know that you could go to the actual customer, right? You could just go to the business partner, and in the business partner you have the balance for the customer. Sorry. But in here you will have the account balance, so that would be for invoices, right? Or credits, in the delivery is in a single different line, and so on. Of course, this is open document list that is for accounting. So sales orders, those are not included in here, okay? It would be for invoices, credit notes, payments. So you see that in the first line, you have an invoice, and just below, there's a credit memo. So right there, you will see what is the document total, the credit memo that was applied to it, and the balance for that specific transaction. From this report, you can open the actual transaction. So I can just go to the actual yellow arrow, and I click it twice, I guess. So it is here. So actually, it is in here that I have my invoice 347. And if I go to the bottom, that is the balance that you have in there, the applied amount, 541. If I go to the right click, apply transactions, there I have my credit memo. Okay. So in this case, this is, as I was saying, this is a crystal report that you could have selected for multiple customers. You could use properties, customer groups. You can export this one You can use the crystal report functionalities just to export the report at any time. You could export it and it would be as an RPT, but you can change it to Excel if you want to, or a PDF. So those are the options that you have. You have a huge report, and it happens whenever you have a crystal report and you open that crystal report, you will see that there is the first page, it says 1+, right? So if you have that option, it is that it has multiple pages, so you can just go straight to the last one. And there you will have what is the total balance for the customer, right? And you can just navigate through the different pages for that report, okay? Let me just go to the first one. If you select multiple customers, you can use this tool, the toggle the group tree. So in there, you can select the actual customer right here. It's like the filter that we use in Excel. For those of you that are not that well versed in Crystal. So that's how you can just go there. And from this one, it is that you export it. And of course, you can anyway copy. And the other functionality is that you have a standard for the zoom and find. Okay. So this would be for this open document list by customers. Okay. Now that I have my cursor highlighted the 1099 and 1096 report. I'm not showing you today anything related to that, but I just want to make a comment about that. Just remember that anytime that you add a vendor, if that vendor is a 1099 vendor, please define what is the tax ID for the vendor, define what is the box, right, for the vendor in the accounting tab. Let's say that you have some opening balance for that 1099. You could add opening balances for the 1099. If we go live in a project in the middle of the year, you already have some transactions for those 1099. So basically, you can actually update those amounts, the ones that you have in your previous system, or if for any reason you have a vendor that you forgot just to set it as a 1099, you still could have some opening balances for specifically for the 1099. It doesn't affect any accounting. It doesn't, but it will just be part of that 1099 report by the end of the year that you need to issue before January 31st, right? And then to pull the 1096 report by March. So those are options, and please be very careful about this, because unfortunately, even if we've done some webinars regarding the 1099, and we still get a lot of questions regarding the 1099. So please don't forget just to do it, to include those 1099s, okay? So that would be for this part. Okay, now there's another one that I want to share with you, and those are the financial report templates. Okay, so in the financial report templates, allow me just to remove my menu. So you could have multiple financial report templates, and those financial report templates could be for a lot of reasons. You could have, let's say, you could create a P&L, but only for the operational side. So basically, I want to have this P&L only up until I'm getting the gross profit. So I will have only my revenue accounts and my cost of sales. That could be a financial report template. So you don't need to export your P&L and start deleting accounts and summarizing. So you can create a financial report template for any of these options. So you could be for balance, for the P&L, trial balance, any of those. You could create a new one anytime. So if I'm going here to a template, I can define new. I already have one that is called cash and equivalent, but let's say that I go define a new one, right? And I could call it, I don't know, depreciation or liabilities, anything. Let me just go to the accounts, VP's reports, I don't know, I will call it VP report. And that will be accounts payables, account receivables maybe, okay? So in this case, what I would do is add the accounts that I want to have. So you can generate the standard chart of accounts, because I found that it is easier just to do it this way. So I generate the standard chart of accounts, but then I can remove the ones that I'm not using, right? So let's say that the equity, I don't want to have the equity in here. So with the right click, I said advanced. This is not remove. The remove will remove the template, okay? So you go to the advanced, and under the advanced, delete the account, okay? So you can just go in there, and now I want, let's say, fixed assets. I don't want to have the fixed assets in here. Delete the account. I don't want to have any of this. I only want to have the receivables. So in here, I will go and delete all of this, delete account, and delete account. From here, same thing. Delete account. Delete account, and almost there. Delete account. So I will have only account receivables and accounts payables, and then I update, right? So now when I go to my financial reports, my standard financial reports, if I go to my balance, now I have the option to select the template. So here you have the template that by default is the chart of accounts. So now I can just run my BP reports, accounts payables and receivables. You have the other options to select monthly. Remember, you can use the expanded, but in this case, of course, you are not selecting transactions, only use certified fields, but then you can just go and run your report. So basically what you will have in here is only accounts payables and accounts receivables, and that's it, okay? So that's what you will have. Okay. Remember, whenever you are in these financial reports, you can just hide the titles and just have the active accounts actually, right? And you can also display the subtotals. For me, when I display the subtotals, it adds more information and it is more confusing for me, but maybe for you, if you're a financial user, it is easier just for visibility. But this is something that you can do anytime, so you don't need the create a template is quite simple, and then it saves a lot of time after that. You see, I have another one here for cash, so I can just run that one. And there I have only my bank. Okay. So let me go back to my selection criteria. Okay. There's this financial report template. For those of you that need to create some reports, some financial reports that are not based on you don't have the standard order of the accounts from the chart of accounts. Let's say for the EBITDA type of template, you need to create those accounts and you need to change the order of those accounts. So you can play with those and have them in a different order from the one that you have for the chart of accounts, okay? So you can use those options as well, okay? So that is an option, and if any of you would like just to explore those options, just let us know. Of course, we can just go through those, okay? So you see that in here, I already have in the icon for the financial report template. So you can add at any time. And also in here, just go to the balance if that is the case and select the template that you want to have, okay? So from the financial report, you will have the journal voucher report based on the journal voucher that you have, the transaction journal report that that I just showed you a while ago, the general ledger, and of course the standard financial reports. Okay, so sometimes we have a lot of questions from the finance users. So now, Clarita, I will go if there are. Do we have questions from our attendees?
Yes, thank you, Mari. So our first question is, are all the transactions that you're showing on the webinar today, are those available for anybody with a finance license, or does it have to be a professional license?
It should be by any financial license. Yeah. If you don't have access, you need to check the authorizations. But you know what? I would like just to confirm if actually you have options to all of those. But I guess yes. I don't see why not. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So we will check on that, Dolores. But and we will confirm that to you. Then another user is asking, what are the main reasons when my P&L doesn't match with the sales analysis? And I think this is one of the questions that we get a lot, right, Mari?
Yes. One of the main reasons that the sales analysis doesn't match with your P&L, it is because sometimes you have some invoices, AR invoices, and if those are service type, let's say, and you select expense accounts in those AR invoices. So in that case, the amount of that invoice would be under the sales analysis, but actually in your revenues, you don't have that amount. So your P&L wouldn't match. When do you use AR invoices? For those of you that, why would you use an expense account in a sales invoice? Sometimes when you have some reimbursements from marketing campaigns, let's say. So let's say that you have some marketing campaigns and I don't know, your main vendor pays for part of it, but you first need to make the investments. So actually after that, you have all of your expenses for that marketing campaign under an expense account. And after that, you would like just to make the adjustment based on the reimbursement that you get from your vendor. So when you can issue an invoice to your vendor, then in that case, that would be a customer now, right? Just charging for those amounts for your company marketing campaign. And in that service sales invoice, you could be selecting that same expense account. So that is one of the main reasons that you see differences in your sales analysis. There are some other reasons, and it is based on the selection criteria. You could be running your your sales analysis by items. But of course, in that sales analysis, you are using only items. And in your P&L, you could have a lot of service invoices or credits. So the amounts won't match because in one side you are reading only items, right? And in the other side you are reading everything. So that is another option that you could have those discrepancies between both reports. Okay, so I guess that those two are the main reasons for those discrepancies.
Okay. Okay. So we have other questions about discrepancies. Why would my inventory audit report why doesn't it match the inventory GL account balance?
Okay. Look, when you are in your inventory, and allow me just to close my financials. When you go to the inventory reports, okay, let me just go to the inventory audit report. So one of the reasons could be that when you open it, it is by default in the system date, and it makes a huge difference. When you are not working in your system on a real time, the system date differs from the posting date, and it makes a huge difference. So let's say that I'm running my inventory audit report by April the 30th, right? And I have an amount in my P&L, in my balance, in my inventory accounts, I have an amount, and I come in here, I run my inventory audit report by April the 30th, and then I don't get the same numbers. And the reason could be that you're using the system date. It could happen that after April the 30th, you posted some transactions the first week of May. So the posting date in that case would be April, but the system date, actually, it is May. So of course, those transactions from May, if you are running by system date, would be included. And then your numbers won't match. So my suggestion is to use always the posting date. So this is one reason that you could get discrepancies in there. The other reason, and this is the more critical reason, because in this case is the selection criteria, right? But the other one is more functional. The main reason that we find that these two reports don't match, it is whenever you post manual journal entries against those inventory accounts that you never ever do, right? You shouldn't do it. So if you do it, the inventory audit report is reading from the actual inventory transactions, right? Inventory transactions, so with the items, related with the items. But if you have journal entries in your balance, in your inventory accounts, in your balance, there you will have an amount that it won't show up in here in the inventory audit report. So the best way just to find out those journal entries, if any of you are doing it, it is go to the actual inventory GL accounts in your chart of accounts, or in the document journal that we did, or in the transactions that I just showed you. You can just go for the journal entries and then look for the journal entry. There is a quite simple way just to go to and find it. Let me just show you. If you go to your chart of accounts, just to find those journal entries. If you go to any of those inventory accounts, so let me just go to the inventory finished goods. I open this one, right? And you always have the origin, the column called origin, right? Let me just go and update the date very, I don't know, 12, let's say. So in here, in the origin, you have the origin of the transaction. So what I do to find it very quickly, it is that I double click in the origin column. So I sort it by ABC order, right? So in here, I should find after the IN for invoices, I will find in there a journal entry, because the actual origin will be JE. So it is quite easy just to find if you have a journal entry manually affecting your balance. That shouldn't happen ever. If you already did it, you will always have that discrepancy, unless that you go and reverse that journal entry. So the journal entry will be there, but at least the amount won't be affecting your numbers. So there's one option for you to avoid this. And of course, there are multiple options. And one is for you to use this block manual posting. So you could say, okay, you know what? I want to block the manual posting against any of these inventory accounts. So that way, no one should be able just to go and post a journal entry against all of these accounts. Okay, so this is a suggestion that we have for you. It is just to block the manual posting for those. Okay. There's another reason. Before jumping in the other question. Okay. Sure. Look, when you're running the inventory audit report, let's say that you want to run it for last year, right? So for the last year. So my suggestion, the main purpose for you is to get the numbers as of December 31st, right? So if it is as of December 31st of 2020, there is no need for you to go and start saying, okay, I want it for the whole year and run the report this way. It will take a lot of, I mean, based on the number of transactions that you have, it could take a lot of time, okay? So no, you are interested only in the final numbers as of December 31st. So what you can do is run the report only for the previous day, right? You could do it from December 30th up until the 31st. But in that case, you need to select this option, this display opening balance for items, accounts with no transactions. You need to use this checkbox. Because if not, of course, the report that we'll get is only for those items that you have transactions between those 2 days. But if you add this one, you will have those opening balances for those items that, of course, you don't have a lot of transactions between December 30th and 31st, unless that you are doing inventory counting. But if that is not the case, anyway, this should be like mandatory if you do this. So when you do this, select this posting date just for a couple of days, then you can select the display opening balances for items on accounts with no transactions, and there you will have your same report. Okay, of course you could say high items with a quantity 0, so that you can do it. You can group by warehouses, you can summarize by accounts if you have some different inventory accounts, so you can do all of those. You can select the GL accounts, but basically the standard audit report that we run, it is for a specific period of time, and then this is what I would do: display the operating balances for those for this report. Okay, it will save you a lot of time just from this report.
Okay, thank you, Mari. A follow-up question to this.
Okay, any other question?
Yes, a follow-up question to this that you just explained is, what type of license do you need to block for manual posting, and does it affect all users in the company or only the user that is checking that box?
If it is not a financial user,
Mari, I can't hear you right now. Can you hear me?
even you could have some financial users that maybe you don't want it just playing with those settings in the chart of accounts. So you could just do it with authorizations,
Okay.
and of course a combination with the type of license of the user.
Okay. Okay. Are there other scenarios where you would use the block for manual posting in the chart of accounts, or is this basically the main one?
For me, the inventory accounts would be the main ones. Yes,
Okay.
those would be the main one. Yeah.
Okay. And then there is a final.
Because for the other scenarios that actually.
Sorry.
For the others, it is like accounts payables and receivables. Those are control accounts, so you don't need to do it because it's already there, right? So
Okay.
for basically the inventory accounts, maybe you could just do it also after you have your fixed assets implemented. Maybe you could just define that the depreciation should be affected only through the transaction when you run depreciation, but that is another option, okay?
Okay. Okay, great. So we have a final question, and it's also about matching reports. And this one is about the aging report not matching the accounts receivable balance.
Okay, I guess that, do you hear me?
Yes.
It seems like that the time is off and then the server was disconnected. But the reason that, but I can answer the question anyway.
Okay.
The reason that you could have those discrepancies is actually quite similar to the inventory audit report of the open transactions. When you run your aging report, if you run it, let's say by April the 30th, the same example. If you run your aging report by April the 30th, there's an option. You can run it because you are doing collections. In that case, that's fine. You can just run it with no other checkbox selected. But the other option is that you do it because you need to send the financial report to the officers or a bank account or your bank financial institutions. In that case, there is an option in there that says display business partner with a zero balance, I guess. So it is you could have a customer with a balance as of April 30th, but maybe the balance was paid off the first week of May. So if you don't check that box, that balance won't be part of that report of your aging report. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that we have another additional question, and that is, can you block per user? I don't know, maybe we couldn't hear you very well when you answered that question before, so a user had that question.
To block by user.
For manual posting by user.
Yes, actually, yes, it can be done. We could use it on some validations just to block by user.
Okay.
Yes, it could be done, yes.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. So Mari, thank you very much. As you were mentioning, we went a little bit over the time. Thank you everyone for being here. And we're gonna, a survey is gonna pop up in your screens right after I close the meeting. And we really appreciate your feedback regarding our webinars, our content, and any suggestion that you have for following for the upcoming webinars. You know that we take it very seriously. We really want to be useful to you. So thank you so much, Mari, for making time for this. And any follow-up questions, please send us an email and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you, Mari. And thank you, everybody.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Clarita. And thanks to all of you that attended the meeting. Okay, bye.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.